What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns welcoming you to another episode of my Discuss series. It's a little show we do. Sometimes it's a Discuss video where I go solo talking about a specific subject revolved around video games mostly. And every now and then it's interactive with you guys, my awesome viewers, subscribers, and fans. So last week you guys got to be part of the previous episode, and this is kind of a two-parter this week. So last week I gave you a chance to submit your picks, your choices via the comment section, Twitter, or Facebook. By the way, Twitter, Facebook, along with all the other social media stuff linked below in the description section. So last week we did, let's see, favorite video game villain or antagonist. This week we are doing, what are we doing? Oh, what's the opposite of a villain? A hero, that's right. Your favorite video game hero. By the way, thanks to everybody that submitted your favorite video game hero or heroes. I did cap it off at up to 3 heroes, protagonists per submission. And thank you to everybody for keeping with that, because if I would have had no limits, you guys, some of you, I'm not going to name names, you would have gone on forever. So anyways, once again, you had the opportunity last week to submit your favorite video game hero. Well, you did for last week's video game villain video, but for this week's video game hero video, you got an opportunity to submit for your favorite hero or heroes, 3 total, by the comment section, the Twitter, or the Facebook. And since I think, what did we do last week? Did we do reverse order or alphabetical? I don't remember. You know what? It's been a long week, so we're just going to go in alphabetical order. So that's how we're going to do it. And if you have a problem with that, well, too bad. But hopefully most of you are okay with it and you don't really care which way I go, as long as I try and get everybody as possible that submitted within the deadline. By the way, we are going to have a little game. That's right, just a little game. You don't have to play, you don't have to participate. And if you do, it does not have to be an alcoholic adult beverage. Whether you're drinking water or a soda pop or tea or lemonade or whatever. Some of these heroes, protagonists are mentioned more than once. And yeah, whenever I mention them in the first time they appear, then I will say every time you hear this hero, take a drink. By the way, if you are drinking an adult beverage, I hope you're doing so at home and you have no intention of getting out and driving anywhere, because, drinking and driving is never a good mix. Okay, so let's start off with, Brian. Going with Brian, and he actually has all 3. Well, there's actually more than these 3, but anytime you hear these 3 or a few others we're going to throw up on the screen in a minute, you will take a drink. If you want to play, you don't have to. And like I said, it doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage. So anyways, Brian Martinez, my favorite heroes are John Marston. Have a sip. Nathan Drake, another sip, and Nico Bellic, yep, a hat trick of sips. So that's 3 sips right there for any of you that are playing along. Whether it's just like a glass of water, soda, or a little something. John Marston is awesome hero because he saves his family. He was the bad guy in his past. I hope we get to see John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 2 on his past as an Easter egg. He knows what he did in the past with Dutch's gang. He's an awesome character, strong right for Dan Houser and Rockstar San Diego. Makes an awesome character, beautiful open world. Nathan Drake is an awesome hero because he's funny and badass. I fell in love with the character after playing Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Naughty Dog and Amy Hennig create a strong hero. Plus, he's voiced by Nolan North. Nico Bellic is awesome hero because he is looking for the American dream and having a clean slate, but his past comes back to haunt him, and it's perfect for people he loves, and that's why he's awesome. Hero made by Rockstar North. Once again, amazing writing by Dan Houser. So these are 3 of the heroes that will appear that you may or may not feel like taking a drink from. Now, you don't have to go with all 3, okay? Not all 3, but say you want to pick one, like a Nico Bellic or a Nathan Drake or John Marston or someone in your head right now that you're thinking of that may or may not appear on this list. You can participate that way as well. So you don't have to drink to all three of them. And if you've already done so, well, at least you're off to a good start, right? And by the way, thanks to Brian. And if you are consuming adult alcoholic beverages, be sure to be responsible and of legal age. All right, next we go to Bob. That's right, Bob. All right, so his three protagonists are Johnny K, Soap McTavish, and the Warden from For Honor. Now, none of these three are part of my quote-unquote list of drinking heroes, so none of these three count unless you already decided that you were going to take a drink anytime you saw one of these three appear on the screen. So that's on you. And now we go all the way across the pond to Kane. Yep, Kane. My favorite protagonist of all video games is Lee Everett from The Walking Dead series, Season 1 by Telltale Games. Lee, in my opinion, is one of the best father figures and a great role model for his fellow survivors and to Clementine. If you don't know who Lee Everett is, here's a brief history. Let's see, Lee Everett is the main playable character in The Walking Dead Season 1. We first meet him in a police car on his way to prison. After a car crashes due to a walker on the road, Lee hides for some walkers. After he's killed a walker cop, shortly afterwards he meets Clementine, and her goal is to find her parents. Lee's promised her is that he will keep her safe until they find them. And that's Lee's brief history. Anything else would be probably considered to be spoilers because it actually is a very good episode. I watched somebody Let's Play it some time ago. All right, so thanks for the submission, Kane. Can't Think of a Name is next. And as you can tell, one of the drinking heroes once again has appeared on the screen. So, yeah, if you're playing along, take a drink. All right, let's see. From Can't Think of a Name off YouTube. Favorite protagonist, Tommy Vercetti. The ultimate crime game, anti-hero, sadistic without being a complete psychopath. Cool, funny, and clever. It's still awesome playing as him. Tanner, the protagonist and driver in the modern-day version of The Man with No Name. And, of course, John Marston, the drinking hero, well, one of our drinking heroes. Probably my favorite video game character ever. One of the few Rockstar protagonists who's truly likable and did anything and everything for his wife and son. The ending is one of the only moments in the game that made me feel genuinely sad. Even if Red Dead 3, a.k.a. Red Dead Redemption 2, is great, the odds are being characters that will probably not be able to top John. Because, yeah, John Marston was definitely a fantastic character. And so was Tommy Vercetti, voiced by Ray Liotta, the very first voice protagonist in the Grand Theft Auto series. Stepping up next is Carlene, one of my retweet warriors, as I like to call her. Let's see. I don't see any. Well, okay, Lincoln. Okay, we're gonna add Lincoln to the drinking hero list. So if you had Lincoln Clay in mind, we'll take a sip. Have a little sippy. All right. I think my three protagonists in the spotlight are as follows: the boss from the Saints Row series. She's playing it right now, and the boss is a great protagonist. He or she, because you can decide who you want the boss to be, male or female. It's customizable to play. She loves the different voice actors and actresses that got to portray them. The choices that the boss make is really work to take over the whole city. And yeah, that's one thing I loved about playing Saints Row, the 3rd and 4, was I would play through like the standard character first, like the built-up one that they have, the default character, which was always male. And then I would go back and replay it as a female version of the boss. And it was always cool to see some of the different things that would happen between being a male and a female version of the boss in the Saints Row series. Let's see, next is Commander Shepard, the BioWare two main franchises, Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Someone forgot KOTOR. Man, you kids. Kids today don't even remember KOTOR. Yeah, I'm dating myself. Okay, so anyways, Commander Shepard is much better than the Dragon Age protagonist. Mainly the number one reason is we got to take Shepard through all the games, which makes the player feel like your decisions on this Shepard actually felt something to the player. And similar to the boss in Saints Row, you also can decide whether or not your version of Commander Shepard is male or female. So that's something I really do like about some games, the ability to create your own protagonist. Like in, for example, Fallout or Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim. I do like that ability when it comes to like a generic protagonist. You can make them male or female. You can decide whether or not they're white or black, Hispanic, Asian, etc. Or in Elder Scrolls, you can decide different races like a Nord or an elf or an orc. You know, I just like that ability. In some games, it works. Other games, it's cool to have like a pre-built character, like Lincoln Clay, one of our drinking heroes. This is not what I call a cheap answer, but I feel he was a great protagonist. I'm expressing it on the plan that he did to take over New Bordeaux. That plan did not fail. It was successful. He was able to get people to work with him, and that way I think he is a great protagonist. Plus, he had a good story, and you really did feel an emotional pull to Lincoln Clay, especially the setting, 1968, him being an orphan, also being African-American, and living that time in a fictional version of New Orleans in the South, late 60s during all sorts of strife, civil rights era, along with counterculture, the Vietnam War. And yeah, you really do definitely end up relating to Lincoln Clay's point of view when it comes to the story of Mafia 3. So definitely worthy of being part of this list, as well as one of the drinking heroes in today's discussed video. Thanks, Carlene, for your submissions. Next, we go to Donnie. My two favorite heroes are... we got two more drinking heroes up on the list. Let's see, John Marston, because he's done some bad stuff, but deep down he was a good guy who just wanted to be with his family. You understood his motivation and it was really made you care for him and his quest for redemption. And the legend Vito Scaletta. And since he's a drinking hero, that means he's most likely going to appear at least a few more times in this video. So if you had Vito Scaletta in mind as your drinking hero, well, take a sip right now. The legend Vito Scaletta, just a guy who wanted to live life as a true gangster. But what made him so great was he had the balls to take what he wanted and didn't take shit from no one. He was the ultimate badass. I think that Vito, my bad. I think that Vito is not the type of person that wanted to be a gangster. I think he wanted to live a normal life. I mean, because, for example, you see at the beginning of Mafia 2 where Joe is the one who's wanting to go into the criminal life. He's wanting to be a good guy, a good fella. He's wanting to be, a mobster. But Vito, kind of, sort of, I think he didn't want to go down that path. He wanted, at the first, he went into the military. Kind of like by no choice, though, because, he got in a little trouble with Joe, and he got caught while Joe got away. But I think that in the end, Vito just decided, c'est la vie, that he wasn't going to end up like his dad, busting his ass down at the docks and barely making any money. He wanted more for himself, and unfortunately for him at the time, his only real option was to go into a life of organized crime, plus the fact that Joe was kind of an influence on that, kind of led him down that path, unfortunately. But do I think that he really, in his heart, wanted to be a criminal? No. It's just that was the only alternative he really had after the war. Thanks for your submissions, Donnie. I'm sure some of you that are consuming adult beverages, hopefully you're not planning on driving later, you're probably starting to feel a little buzz, aren't you? Just a little. Next, it is Alain. Two that I could think of at the moment. And by the way, these two are not quote-unquote drinking heroes unless you picked one of them. In that case, have a sip or don't have a sip, whatever. The first one she picked was Marcus Phoenix from the Gears of War series. He saved an untold number of lives fighting the Locust for 10 years, and even though he was unfairly labeled a coward for abandoning his post to save his father, he's a hero to many. And of course, the other one is BJ from the Wolfenstein series, and as you can tell, I went with an OG version of BJ, because, I played Wolfenstein from the very beginning back in the 90s, so that's why I went with that version. Single-handedly defeated the Mecha Hitler and entirely defeated Nazis through 3 generations of hardware. Definitely an iconic hero in video game history. Plus, there's a new Wolfenstein game coming out, sometime this year, I think, or is it next year? It's coming out eventually, but a lot of people are very much looking forward to the next Wolfenstein game. Thanks, Alain. Now we're going to Incredible J off of YouTube. And yep, one of the 3 drinking heroes is up to bat. So for all of you that picked Nathan Drake, take a sip. Have a little sippy. By the way, in between breaks, I've been sipping too. It's tea, okay? I stopped drinking alcohol like 5 months ago. It's a good thing too, because I've lost like 40 pounds. Not bad. All right, so anyways, my favorite protagonist of all time is easily Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid franchise. He's such a badass. So second one have to be Shepard from Mass Effect. You know something? I think we're going to make Shepard a drinking hero as well. So if you pick Shepard, have another drink. And if you're just drinking to any drinking hero, well, have another drink. A lot of you, by the time you're done watching this video, if you are partaking in adult beverages, you're going to be trashed. But like I said, be responsible. Stay trashed at home. All right, so second would be Shepard for the Mass Effect series, who's also great. And last is Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series because he's an amazing adventurer. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Jay, I just want to mention something, guys. Yesterday, Azraelin, one of my friends, and you can find her channel over in the featured channel section, one of my friends that I play with a lot in Friday the 13th, she live streamed the new expansion for Uncharted, Lost Legacy. So if you want to go check out that, the entire video I think is up on our channel. It was a lot of fun watching. You know, plus the main protagonist was voiced by the one and only Claudia Black from Farscape, SG-1, and a lot of other stuff as well. I know her specifically from Farscape, you know, because she played Aaron Sun. But my bae will always be Chiana. Oh, yeah. So anyways, those are Incredible Jay's submissions. Thanks, Jay. And now we go to Local Defender. Sly Cooper, Vito Scaletta. That's right, it's time for a drink. And of course, Wei Shin from Sleeping Dogs. So obviously I'm not familiar with Sly Cooper or the Sleeping Dog series. And Local Defender's probably wondering, GeauxBurns, I know I left a lot longer post on your comment section. You did, but it had nothing to do with heroes, okay? Local Defender, I read it. To my credit, I did read it. But, you know, the top part was the only thing that you had anything to say about heroes. So you should have elaborated about why you like Sly Cooper or Vito Scaletta or Wei Shin. Like, villains was last week. Okay, get with the times, man. Get with the times. Luke. Help me, Luke. You're my only hope. Okay, I know it was Obi-Wan, but anyways. Luke is next. He has, a few submissions, including one of our drinking heroes. You know what to do. All right, so favorite protagonist list is the unnamed Asian guy in Mafia 2. There's like 2 or 3 unnamed Asian guys in Mafia 2. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Don? Are you talking about the one in that one mission? Are you talking about... I have no idea which Asian guy you're talking about, okay? I'm just assuming it's... Whoever it is, it's obviously one of your favorites. Then, of course, Lincoln. GD Clay. He's our drinking hero, one of our drinking heroes. And the Soul Survivor from Fallout 4. As I used to call her, Lydia. She was my Soul Survivor. Once again, another one of those characters that you can pick out what they are, male or female, skin color, hairstyle, etc., etc. So there is Luke's 3 submissions, and I mean, I swear, I don't know who you're talking about, because like I mentioned, there was at least, I mean, there were several background Asian characters, but there's at least 2 or 3 like secondary or ancillary Asian characters. Like 2 of them, like one was like a lieutenant or a mob boss at a restaurant. And then there's another one you meet near the end of the game. So I have no idea which one you're talking about, Luke. But, you know, as they say, teach their own. Nevin, or Nevin, however you pronounce your name, has 2 drinking heroes, technically. 2 drinking heroes. My favorite video game heroes is Vito Scaletta, the protagonist of Mafia 2, and Lincoln Clay, protagonist of Mafia 3. And I think this worked perfectly. Don't you think? This artwork, because there's both of them, Lincoln and Vito. And that's definitely one of the sad things about, you know, Mafia 3 being officially over, as far as we know, with the last expansion, what came out a few weeks ago, or it was a few weeks ago at least, that we did not get expansion with Vito and Lincoln, you know, spending more time together. That would have been awesome if we would have got that. Anyway, so those are Nevin's 2 protagonists, and they both are, quote-unquote, drinking heroes. So, have a double shot. A lot of you are like blurry right now. You're seeing like 2 or 3 at the moment. All right, so next we go to Real Scorpion. And let's see, 2 more drinking heroes. Some of you are probably like, damn it, GeauxBurns, I wish I would have never played this game. Hey, you know, you made the choice to play the game. You know, I gave you the option to play it or not play it. Yes, you know, all 2 or 3 of you chose to play it. With 2 or 3 of my fingers pointed at you right now. You're going to be on the floor before this one's over. All right, so anyways, Real Scorpion. Let's see. My top 3 heroes are as follow. Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. We take such a great journey as Shepard. Of course, you can play as him. You can play him as a villain almost. I've always played him or her. You know, because some of you would prefer playing Shepard as a her. Admittedly, if I would, I probably would. You know I would. That's just the way I am. I always have played him as a good hero. He saves the universe. Only thing I didn't like about the trilogy was the fucked up ending to our struggles. Next is John Marston from Red Dead Redemption, a former villain that went good and got pulled back into the game to hunt his old gang down in order to live his own life. It's all fucking amazing. Such a sad ending. So freaking hyped for the sequel, by the way. Sequel or prequel or whatever the hell Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be, right? Maybe it's going to be both, a sequel and a prequel. As long as it comes out and as long as it's awesome, I'll be happy. Okay, so third and final, it's Geralt from Riviera from the Witcher series. Again, you play it from different ways, but again, you play it as a pure hero with off-shagging women left and right. What, you visit the brothels, the ladies, one of the oldest professions in the world. Again, it's a journey that does it for me. Played the trilogy back to back, so it really got into the lore. And Geralt himself, such a quote-unquote dry man, doesn't really make jokes, but that's what made him good company. And the fight for getting his full memory back in the end, saving everyone. I love this trilogy. Have a great day, GB, and I hope you all have a fantastic day and week as well. Especially those of you that are, a little buzzed right now. Some of you that are actually playing this game, wow. The things I can make you do. Okay, anyways, next we go to Robin. Hey, speaking of our little game, another drinking hero. My favorite hero is Vito Scaletta because he did help his family with the money, and he saved Leo from Henry. He saved Joe from Vinci, and he saved Tommy Balls from Luca. Vito is a war hero, and obviously I went with Mafia 2 Vito as opposed to Mafia 3 Vito because Robin is talking about, the events of Mafia 2, not 3. So that's why we decided to go a little old school with a portrait of Vito from Mafia 2. Next is Romero. My top 3 homeboys are Claude Speed from Grand Theft Auto 2. Isn't Claude also in Grand Theft Auto 3 and the original Grand Theft Auto? I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Claude is the main protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 3 as well. Let's see, Big Boy Wolf from Wolf Among Us Season 1, a Telltale series. By the way, I think Season 2 is coming, sometime in 2018 for all you Wolf Among Us fans. You got to be excited about that. And finally, Jimmy from Mafia 2, the betrayal of Jimmy or Jimmy's vendetta. And, teach their own on that one. But in all fairness to Romero and everyone else, these are your heroes. And whoever you think is a hero in your opinion. So you're entitled to your opinions. Whether I or the others agree or disagree with you, that's, what matters. Just remember that. Don't stop believing. Okay, so next we go to Sedan. Oh, look at this. Another drinking hero has jumped up. Some of you are probably struggling like, no more GeauxBurns, no more. No. Favorite protagonist, Vito Scaletta. Even if he's a bit of an anti-hero, my favorite quote-unquote hero through and through, a good guy, I'd go with Naked Snake, Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 and, of course, Metal Gear Solid 5. Vito is very well-rounded, interested, easy-to-relate character, but I wouldn't consider him a quote-unquote true hero. Naked Snake, on the other hand, really does strike the line as a sort of hero. Snake is a fantastic soldier, but also quite intelligent, very funny. Both have admirable characteristics, and both look really good in a tuxedo. And I don't care. I'm counting today, anti-heroes are heroes. So I realize an anti-hero can exist somewhere in the middle, like Catwoman. But, if you added it to the hero category in this video, Vito's a hero. So that's the way it's going to be. And now we head to Ireland to see what Session Box has picked. My favorite heroes are Tony Cipriani from Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. I love that game, and Tony didn't take shit. His boss fucked with him, so Tony crushed his car, and that's pure badass. Of course, Franklin from Grand Theft Auto 5. He's a big tank. He just wants to make money and get out of the hood, but I liked his connection with Michael and Lamar. Vic Vance from Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. I liked him more than Tommy from the original. And of course, Vic is a criminal that doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He is annoying, that gets him into trouble, but he also helps, his proper bro love. Okay, so yeah, I have played all three of these games. Of course, I've played most of the Grand Theft Auto games. And I got Liberty City Stories with my PSP. That's the only reason why I got a PSP, by the way, was because of Liberty City Stories. Still has one of the best Grand Theft Auto intro themes, in my honest opinion. I love that intro. And I absolutely love Franklin as well. I consider Franklin to be the main character of Grand Theft Auto 5 because everyone in the end centers around Franklin. And in the end, you have to make, the key game-ending decision as Franklin. Not as Michael, not as Trevor, but as Franklin. So I consider Franklin to be, if there is a primary protagonist in Grand Theft Auto 5, it's most definitely Franklin. Thanks for the submission session. And next we go to Steven. And yep, Steven also has one of the drinking heroes. So if you're struggling right now, you're still playing, quitters never win. My three favorite protagonists are, Artem or Aritem. I've never played Metro, so I probably butchered that one because he really doesn't say very much, but comes across as a badass kind of individual, mainly through the use of body language, his problem-solving abilities. Faith from Mirror's Edge. She is a badass female protagonist who tries to do good whenever she can, even though it's illegal and it puts her into harm's way to try and save her sister. And Vito from Mafia 2. For the obvious reasons, but more because he's such a grounded individual, trying his hardest, yet always getting fucked and everything taken away from him. Whilst he also shows signs of intelligence and a conscience, he grows as a character and is just very real. All right, so there is Steven's submissions. Thank you very much, Steven. And the next submissions come from Swamp Donkey off Twitter. His first submission is Lee Everett from The Walking Dead. To take on and care for a young child, I mean, damn, that's a hero in my book. Yep, I would definitely consider Lee to be a certified hero. And because Twitter only limits, how many words you can typey, even though Alain kind of got around that. Very clever, Alain. I saw what you did. That was brilliant. She typed it up, she saved it or screenshotted it, then she added it as a photo. That works. That's definitely a good idea. So hopefully some other people that use Twitter will follow Elaine's lead on that one. So Swamp Donkey's other submissions include Joel from The Last of Us. The dude was a badass. Actually, he might be before Lee on this one. And number 3, how can it not be Nathan Drake? Another one of our drinking heroes. So, yep, you got to take another Drake if you are going for Drake. Drink for Drake. Drink for Drake. Drink for Drake. All right, for everyone struggling right now, whether it was too many adult beverages or you've drank too much water or soda or whatever you're drinking right now, and you're wondering, GeauxBurns, please end this. I can't take another drink. Well, maybe you will, maybe you won't, because this is the last submission from Young Knight. If you went with Nico Bellic, well, you got to take one more sip. Actually, if you pick Nico Bellic, I think you only had to take 2 other sips, I think. I could be wrong about that. So you probably only got kind of a mild buzz. Unless you decide just to drink for every single, quote-unquote, drinking hero that popped up on the screen. All right, so Young Knight says, Nico Bellic is probably my favorite playable character. He feels different from the other Grand Theft Auto protagonists, and he seems more like he wants to drop out of the crime life, but is forced in by people surrounding him. Though there are times where it seems like he wants good money, he also seems to have a set of morals when it comes to drugs and violence. And I consider Nico and Vito to be similar in a lot of ways. I don't think they set out to be criminals, but unfortunate series of events, plus both their backgrounds coming from probably very poor and, other people in their lives kind of forced them into the life of crime. So yeah, Lincoln and Vito and Nico, all individuals that didn't exactly have it easy, and unfortunately they were in a circumstance where they had no choice but to go into a life of crime, depending on each of their various scenarios, because each one was different. But yeah, all 3 of those, in my opinion, very, very relatable. So I'm going to go with Nico and Vito and Lincoln. So those 3, I think I'm going to go with my 3, in case you were wondering. But now what I want to know is, what are some of your favorite video game heroes. If you were unable to partake in this Discuss episode, leave it below in the comment section. You can do between 1 or 3 of your favorite video game heroes. Let us know, like, which one you like the most. Like I like this hero in this video game. Why? Tell us why. Let us know why this guy or this gal is your favorite hero, or why these are your top 3 heroes. Feel free and leave that below in the comment section. And if you have a submission or an idea, a thought, a vision for a future Discuss episode, feel free and leave it below in the comments section via Twitter or Facebook. And I would advise you to, once again, look at the Discuss playlist just in case I may have done that video already. So that's right. Today, we are taking Discuss submissions for future Discuss episodes. So once again, no deadline. Just feel free and think about it after you sober up a little bit. Or maybe you do your best thinking whenever you got a little something in you. But anyways, like I said, for those of you that played along, I hope if you did, don't drink and drive, okay? Get a D&D. Or a DD, yeah. You can go play D&D, but if you're going to go drive somewhere, make sure you have a designated driver. Or just, sleep it off. But yes, like I mentioned, if you have a Discuss topic for a future episode, feel free and either leave it below in the comments section, via Twitter, or Facebook, all of which linked below in the description section.